Hello everyone! Fritted Lemons is here to give you a video on some early game battle tactics for Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, don't worry, there's not going to be any spoilers in this video. The party members that you see on the screen at this moment are the only party members that we're going to be showcased in this video. So, as anyone who's played Xenoblade knows, is that the battle system in Xenoblade is very unique compared to many other RPGs. So, with that being said, let me give my personal tips and tactics that I like to go by whenever I'm battling. So when it comes to the different equipment that everyone should be using along with their stats, Shulk is very fragile, but is also a really good attacker and is very well versed in a lot of different things, being able to debuff the enemy, heal his partners, buff his enemy, or not buff his enemies, buff his partners. But so basically he's a glass cannon, so I'd recommend putting a lot of agility up on him, which is why I got the agility up gem, along with the HP up gem, because when he gets hit, it hurts. Now for Reyn's going to be the one that you want to be doing all the damage and getting all the aggro, taking off the other partners. So for him, now I don't have anything equipped right now, but I'd recommend Muscle up for that increase in defense, HP up, or Aggro up for his weapons, so that he can accumulate aggro more easily. I'd recommend Quick Step on Shulk instead of Sharla, because Shulk has to constantly move around the enemies so that he get those side attacks, the back attacks. And Quickstep will just allow him to be able to do that more easily and quickly. Now for Sharla, I'd recommend a lot of debuff resistances, because if Sharla gets dazed or toppled or inflicted with anything, it's going to be really tough for her to be able to heal up Reyn and Shulk when they need it, because especially with Reyn, if he's going to be taking all the hits, he's going to need HP, he's going to need his HP back, and if he's going to be taking all the hits, he's bound to get a bunch of debuffs on him, which is when Sharla's debuff resistant art will come into play. So when it comes to battling and the different arts that you should be equipped, I really recommend arts that increases Reyn's aggro. As you can see, Shulk had the aggro there, so I go ahead and use Shadow Eye. And I'm positioned myself already in front of the enemy so that when Reyn takes the aggro, I'll be right behind it, so I go straight for a backslash. And also, Quickstep would be super nice for Shulk, because most of his arts most of Shulk's arts get their buffs when he's at a certain position from the enemy. Now, when it comes to controlling Sharla, you want to make sure that you're constantly watching your teammates' HP and the different debuffs that they might have on him. Because if Reyn has a debuff and he's not able to do enough damage and Shulk takes all the aggro, you could be in some trouble. So definitely make sure to keep Reyn in the fight. And another thing to mention, not only does attacking accumulate aggro, but healing also accumulates aggro. So if you spam healing with Sharla, then she's bound to get the aggro put on her. And not that she's terrible with the aggro, since she's able to move around and attack with her auto attacks or her arts from a distance. It just is so much better on Reyn. He has about 1,000 HP more than his partners at this moment in the game, which is very early on, but still. Sharla is one of the more complex party members if you're going to be controlling her. So basically what I'd recommend is whenever you do receive the aggro, like so, go ahead and put the enemy to sleep. That'll give Reyn a chance to inflict any auras or debuffs that he can, and draw that aggro away from you. Not only that, but the block weight on Reyn's weapons is a lot better. And when it comes to putting the aggro off of Shulk when you're a different character, I'd recommend just either giving him debuff immunity so that he doesn't get debuffed, because if he gets toppled and the enemies start ganging up on him, that could be a huge issue. And you definitely don't want Shulk to be taking too much damage, especially since he's the one that's going to be able to protect the party members with all of his arts and such. When you're controlling Reyn at this point in the game, definitely you want to use your arts like War Swing when there's a bunch of enemies, because when you do that, you're attacking multiple enemies, multiple aggros being accumulated. Now, if you see that a different enemy starts aggroing onto Shulk, like so, even if you're targeting a different enemy, you want to switch your focus on the enemy that's targeting Shulk. Reyn's Bone Upper and War Swing are really good because it increases his talent gauge, which allows him to just take the aggro completely off of Shulk, or Sharla even. Another really important thing to know is when you're controlling Shulk, it's not the best idea to go art spamming. And especially with a character like Shulk that has a really good kit of arts, it's really hard to not art spam with him sometimes. Sometimes you just get a little carried away, but that's fine. If you do find yourself art spamming a bunch, just go ahead and use your Shadow Eye to get some of that aggro off of you. Because of course the more arts that you use, the more damage that you're doing, which means the more aggro that you're going to be accumulating, which you don't want when you're Shulk. So it's important to conserve your Monado arts when your enemies want to do one of their talent arts so that you could throw up that Monado shield really quickly. But don't be too conservative with your Monado arts, because you might miss out on other opportunities to be able to use your other arts at good times, which might give you the edge in the fights. Another important thing I want to mention, especially when it comes to fighting bosses, is how you line up your party. So what I'd recommend is, since inflicting topple is such a huge help in chain attacks, I'd recommend having your break person go right before your topple person. Or, let's say that all three of your characters have break, topple, and daze available to them. You could have, I'd recommend having your break person first, your topple person second, and then your daze person third. Now, if you want to do a lot of damage in your chain attacks, and you're not set on getting the topple off, I'd recommend having Shulk or Reyn in the back. Because in chain attacks, the talent art is like a wild card. So basically, no matter what color that you use before and after the talent art, you could keep the chain going. So let's say that you use 2 red arts and then your talent art. Now you got a 3 combo, and then you could change to like a pink art so that Sharla can follow up with one of her pink arts. It makes much more sense if you actually do it. Now the reason I recommend Shulk or Reyn in the back, because Reyn has War Swing and Bone Upper, which both fill the talent gauge, which is really nice. And Shulk's Monado arts are really accessible, and depending on the situation, you could choose which one to use during the chain attack while keeping your chain attack links. So the lineup that you choose is very important to chain attacks. Now, since you're not able to use Sharla's talent art in a chain attack, I would not recommend having her in the back slot if you're trying to do damage. If you want to go for the topple, that's another story. Also, don't forget, if you're super desperate for healing, you can totally use up your chain attack to just heal up. Because if you use multiple of your blue arts in succession, you'll get better healing out of them. So let's say all your party members are really low on health, and you have a chain attack ready, just don't be afraid to use up that chain attack for healing instead of damage output. It'll save you a lot of sorrow in the end. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all that I want to talk about right now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was a huge help. If there's anything that I should add or anything, go ahead and leave a comment if there's something I missed. I didn't want to go over too much without leaving too many spoilers, and also please refrain from putting spoilers in the comments. If I see a spoiler, I'll probably just remove the comment. If you guys really want, leave a like or a comment, just show some kind of support, telling me that I should keep on making these type of videos, and I'll go over future party members' tactics and how they work well in a team with their chain attacks and their optimized gear. Well, yeah, that's it for today. See ya.